Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be in Brisbane. We are always excited, but particularly this year because there's so much happening in Brisbane. And as Anthony alludes to, Brisbane winning all those awards. So we are really excited as well moving forward. We see lots of plans with Brisbane, specifically 2-night stay and, including Cell Drive, including extension into Sunshine Coast, into the Scenic Rim, Brisbane plus Big Sundays, etc. Now, I'll try to be very quick because I way overshoot my presentation on the Gold Coast. Yeah. Our team from Singapore, covering the Southeast Asian market, meaning Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia. We have myself, Kim, we have Stella and Christine. And over in India, of course, we have got Rainer, who is leading the team, along with Hina and a new colleague called Julie, who is helping Rainer with the marketing and the social bit. Now, in terms of performance, very quickly, for my presentation, we have split it up into Southeast Asia and India, hence, the overrun earlier. With Singapore, the market has, in terms of recovery, it is yet, some distance to go with the recovery back to pre-COVID levels, and that largely has to do with the impact of the Scoot withdrawal in mid-July last year from Singapore to the Gold Coast, so that has impacted. But I have to mention also that although the numbers in arrival has been affected, in terms of spend, it has been bouncing back quite strongly, much to do with the higher spend and longer length of stay. Now, for Indonesia as a market, many tends to overlook. It is and still is Indonesia's closest neighbor. In terms of arrivals, it has bounced back quite strongly. In terms of spend, it has grown by 41%. So Indonesia is a good news story. The recovery is slightly slower in Malaysia, partly because of the weak ringgit, as well the weak Malaysian ringgit, as well as some longer time it takes for visa processing, and that has impacted on numbers a little bit. But in terms of spend, it has bounced back fairly strongly as well. Now, aviation, the numbers for Singapore Airlines has yet been reflected here in terms of the eventual increase back to pre-COVID levels. Scoot withdrawal has also impacted on the return back to pre-COVID level. As you can see, Australia at 98% and Singapore at 62%, but we are confident that it will be showing a much higher percentage in the months ahead as we do look forward to additional services on SQ to Brisbane. And the good news story that we want to highlight also is that for Southeast Asia as a whole, we are seeing the likes of Vietjet. We started in June 2023 with 2 flights a week, and it is now 5. Hopefully in due course, maybe, just maybe, we can see a daily flight. So there's a good news story coming out other parts of Southeast Asia, and Philippine Airlines as well that has launched their direct flight from Manila into Brisbane. Some key trends and insights. I will just quickly highlight that the Singapore dollar has been really strong. The exchange rate is 1 Sing dollar to 1.13 to 1.14, and Singaporeans being very conscious when it comes to value for money for holiday. I think that put Queensland, Australia in a good state, although our competition really is from Japan. For Indonesia, as we mentioned, it is the largest economy, is bouncing back. Malaysia, we have a bit of a way to go, but hopefully, as the Malaysians get used to, the slightly longer visa requirements, and hopefully in due course, we get Malaysian Airlines back to flying to Brisbane. We hope to see the market bouncing back a little bit stronger in the later part of the year or perhaps in 2025. In terms of overall market insights, with Southeast Asia as well as with India as a whole, the market is becoming more fragmented simply because, as hotels switch into dynamic pricing, travel agents have to look at, beyond the ITOs to look for rates, on the OTA space for hotel rates. But having said that, I want to jump to the next point, which is increased customization and family groups. You will find that, post-COVID, one of the positive story that we would like to say, feedback from the market is that more are traveling in bigger family groups, less in the traditional series, but they are traveling with families, with friends. They have got group size of 8, 10, 12, and they are getting quotes for more customized itineraries and more in-depth experiences. And I think that is something that's happening regionally. The increase in special interest. As our consumers become more mature, they are looking for more in-depth experiences. I mentioned self-drive, marathons is getting popular. In the Singapore context, as part of our efforts to showcase more the Brisbane lifestyle, we have worked with EU Travels to do a little bit of Tour de Brisbane, and we will likely have a dozen cyclists coming to this year's Tour de Brisbane. Like I said, it's not just about the event, but through the event to showcase the destination, yeah? These are some of our partners, combination of OTAs as well as our traditional KDPs, yeah? Some examples of what we have been doing in the market. I'd like to acknowledge that BIDA has been really supportive for each of our airline campaigns, for our KDP campaigns. And this is an example of the wonderful partnership we have with BIDA, with Chan Brothers. We effectively dominate 2 big months in radio with one of the leading Mandarin station in Singapore, and that is Yes 933, and the PR value that we generate out of that across 2 live broadcasts, meaning they fly into Brisbane to do live broadcasts, is in the region of nearly $1 million over 2 broadcasts. Traveloka, again, we did a lot of social with Traveloka, which is the biggest OTA in Indonesia. We tie up with TA as well, where we repurpose some of our KOL content to include live stream, to include tactical campaigns, and it adds a level of authenticity to the experience that they have in Brisbane as well as in the Gold Coast. So that's another example of what we have done. Social media been very important. A lot of our audience really, go to social media for recommendations, or they'll search TikTok, or they'll search Instagram Reels, etc. for recommendations or KOL recommendations and experiences. In terms of what's coming up, travel fairs, there will be more of the travel fairs as travel returns, such as SQ, the Crook 10-year anniversary. Our travel agents are doing bigger travel fairs, and there are opportunities there to partner with your inbound operators or with the OTAs to do value adds and unique experiences, yeah? Looking forward, as I mentioned, this is just a quick chart, some of the things that we are looking at. Now, with BIDA, we are looking at doing with Singapore Airlines, both in Indonesia, as well as coming out in end March, even as we speak now, discussing the media plan with BIDA to launch our Singapore Airlines campaign later part of the month. We have also got partnering one of our trade partners called Price Breakers for Bluey and Bingo. They are doing a major consumer travel fair at Great World City, one of our upmarket malls, where there will be meet and greet with Bluey and Bingos. And of course, we'll tie it back to the Bluey's World event here that is happening in Brisbane later part of the year. And of course, our ongoing trade and media support. And this coming next month, we are also doing with Kiss 92, one of our major English radio station, to do live broadcasts here from Brisbane, as well as the Gold Coast, partnering Tourism Australia. And all that has to do with, all the vibrant lifestyle, all the new attractions that's happening in Brisbane and in the region, yeah? In terms of India, I know I'm going very fast, yeah. India, with India, it is the fastest growing market. I think we all know how much promise that India has. The market has almost bounced back to pre-COVID levels, and that has pretty much been helped by, strong aviation return. Pre-COVID, we have got 8 flights per week from India into Australia as a whole, mainly Sydney, Melbourne. And currently, as we stand, there are 28 flights from India into Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. Yeah. In terms of insights, I will not repeat. Basically, that is what we have said about, you know, the Indian market being buoyant. Some of the things, though, I will highlight in addition to the very significant increase in aviation capacity is that the market in India is getting younger, and with the millennials and the Gen Zs, they go with the different mentality of, you know, you only live once, YOLO, you spend now and then you worry later. That helps us in terms of tourism. Yeah, and there are 10 million weddings a year, so even if we get a small percentage on the honeymoon market, it is significant and they are high spenders. Yeah, and fragmentation on the rise, I probably will want to mention trade distribution. As you know, as the market grows, there are more ITOs operating in the market. And Rainer has basically said that, you know, in the 10 City Roadshow, they are seeing more agents, you know, they may be smaller, but they are also riding big ticket sales into Australia from the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities. So, you know, what we are saying is, in addition to Delhi and Mumbai and Bangalore, look beyond it as well. In terms of package cost, it has increased significantly. Many will be aware of the high airfares, will be aware of limited capacity, and with hotel rates, domestic has been doing really well in Australia. All that has reflected in higher hotel rates. All that when you add in, the ground cost to Australia has increased some 30%. So what that effectively means when you translate into numbers and consumers is that the bottom end of the market that is in the $3,000 Australian range, basically, you know, has been impacted, and we might need to look at growing the other market segments. Okay, now in terms of moving forward, what are some of the activity highlights? In India this year, there has been an increase in budget, and that with that, what it really effectively means is that we are able to do with more partners. We started back in 2022 with 4 KDPs. Now we are working with 11 KDPs plus 3 more that is under negotiation. So in terms of partnership, we have increased. We are looking beyond, you know, the traditional operators. Yes, we have included the OTAs. Yes, we have included a couple of regional partners as well as part of our efforts to, you know, reach out to more audience. And Rainer next week will be attending Luxury Travel Tribe, which is targeted at the luxury market to explore that segment of the market. Yeah. The team has trained some 1,200 agents through the ASP network, through the roadshow, and through ongoing sales call and market visits. Now, in terms of PR, the team has leveraged very effectively on FIFA Women World Cup together with Tourism Australia. Our recent minister and CEO visit in December has generated some good PR as well. And of course, the GoPro opportunity as well that was done last November. This is an example of Singapore Airlines campaign. So over the next 4 months, together with BIDA, together with Experience Gold Coast, we will be doing, you know, our campaign with Singapore Airlines right through from March to June. These are some of our examples of our KDP partnership with SOTC, with Thomas Cook, and more to come. Media engagement, as we have highlighted earlier on, Brisbane is a great story to tell, yeah? And that has been across Singapore, across India, and increasingly we will be bringing it through to Malaysia and to Indonesia as well, because the combination of city, I mean the best of Brisbane, the urban city, 1 to 2 nights, combined with a coastal lifestyle, be it road trip up to Sunshine Coast, to the Scenic Rim, be it down to the Gold Coast for the family segment, and other segments as well. So this is all some of the good news story that we are highlighting with leveraging on Brisbane's story. I will not repeat on it, but because this has been covered already, I hope that gives you a very quick overview of the market. And I would just like to end off with saying that the mines market is a potential. With Queen's Wharf opening, the incentive market is something that we should really explore as well. Thank you.